Hey everyone. I'm gonna try to look at the camera more now. Like that's gonna happen. Move some stuff around so that I try to get that to happen. Okay. We're gonna discuss three things. We're gonna give the scoring for the tournament. We're gonna let you know who the judges were, and we're gonna talk about um, the verbiage or how to make the boxes better or etc etc etc. Okay, so quick reminder. Well, let's do the judges first. Okay, so we had three judges. All three, or they were taken from different points of the community. I try to spread it out between interests and all that kind of thing. I did not have a vote. Um, yeah, I don't think it would have changed very much. Maybe it would have shuffled the top three or four. Very few points between the top four or five. And I might have shuffled the bottom couple, but we had, JC, Comics and Collectibles. So JC, Lobo loving JC, he is self-proclaimed to be the best mystery box creator in the world. But regardless, collector of many things, loves his signatures, loves certain niches like Deadpool, Carnage, loves Lobo to death, kind of crosses over that full market. So a lot of people know JC from the Texas crowd and from Whatnot and from just shows in general. Does lots of giveaways, that kind of thing. So, yeah. Then we have AKA Comic Books. So, buy a lot of books from John. Yes, we have two Johns. Yeah, we have John and John. He acts as a sort of comic book broker for some people, if that makes sense, but always has something on sale, always has great prices, ships really well. He has become, probably a little bit due to my influence, my favorite short box shipper. So you gotta pack a short box very particular, and he's very good at it. Short boxes are prone to fail in the mail, but never had a failure from John, so it's good. And then we have Yellow Beanie Comics. So, local to the East Bay for me, so part of the East Bay crowd in California. I bought a lot of comics from him. Always wanting to meet up and trade. Kind of has a pulse on spec, but also comic cards, like kind of interests across the board. So not just more in the industry than the objects themselves. The same can be said for AKA Comic Books. Yeah, so I think AKA Comic Books, that his taste is in the older comic books. I'm talking about ass here, so I might be completely wrong about these guys, but that's the feeling I get. I've dealt with all three of these guys extensively in the industry. Love them. Very happy with everything I've had to deal with them, and I'm very happy with the results for their judging of the tournament. Let's get into results. Let's start from the bottom and go up. Reminder, the number one person gets to pick any comic that's in any video. I'll send them a list of what comics were shown, so they can pick. So I do want to say that what we did was we judged 5 points on packing, 20 points each judge on contents. They justified it, some wordy, some not. I think yeah, some wordy, some not. We'll go through some of those notes in the final section. If no one cares about it, we'll just put it in the final section of this video. Everyone voted very in similar parameters. So JC's average packing rating was 3.8. JC's average content was 13. AKA John was 3.375 for packing, and 13 again, just like John, for contents. And then Yellow Beanie was a 3 for packing, and contents at 12.4. So all hugging that 13 point for contents, all hugging that 3 for packing. The other thing you need to know is that JC judged first, so sometimes the others kind of would have read his review and might have tweaked it a little bit. That's going to happen in any judging, and I actually think it's good because you get a more stable vote. Anyhow. Alright, who loses to winner? There are 12 entries. So the 12 entries are made up of 8 randomly pulled people that volunteered to put their name in a bucket, 2 replacement people, and 2 people from the first tournament that never got their boxes here in time. One got stuck in customs, and the other one just got lost in USPS. So, sorry guys. Okay. Last place, number 12. Buy My Comics. If you watched the review of Buy My Comics, this is the one that was heavy indie. Predicted this would happen. I don't think it's going to be a surprise for Buy My Comics. Yeah. I'll go into more detail later. Number 11 was Longbox. So packaging was a little all over the place, judging wise, but what it really hurt was the books felt like a lot of filler books. But the Batman 66 was a big hit. Number 10 was E. Nelson Comics. A lot of fun in this. This is where the numbers get really close. A lot of fun here. Okay, so to put things in perspective, E. Nelson Comics, you scored a 45.5. Number 9 was Marvelous Comics, 73. And you scored a... I'm reading off a spreadsheet. I'm just going to freeze the column. Okay, that helps. You scored a 46. So there was literally half a point between 10 and 9. Marvelous Comics, 73 coming on top of that. Bookstore Bats dealt a lot with you in sales. Love Bookstore Bats. Got a good deal all the time. You came in 8th with a 47. So only 1 point away from Ninth place there. Number 7 is Comics for College. Love Comics for College. Got a 49.5. That's 2.5 over the person behind you, which is great. The next person after that is number 6, and that is Comic Big Chris. So he was submission number 1. He got a 52, so quite a big gap there between 6 and 7. That was good. Now, submission number 10 came in 5th. So number 5 was B Cars 10 with a 54.5. 54.5. Number 4 was Nostalgia Source with 56. So only a 1.5 between the two of them. Number 3 was Big Ben 70 with only 0.5 separating him from number 4. Number 2 was Empty Thought Balloon. Empty Thought Balloon had the book they printed, as called it, the underwear book, and they had 57. So again, 0.5. So that means between number 5 and number 2. There were 2.5 points between 3 people voting. That's amazing. And then Loki ran with it, 60.5. So some things that stood out about his stuff: the packing was on point, really, really good packing. Cards and stickers. So the first 3 books were strong. It had the Riri book in there and the Mega Man book. For some, the mystery box fell soft in the middle, but picked right back up. So, people called very early on that this box, which was submission 5, and submission 3, who's Empty Thought Balloon, were the top 2 boxes. Okay, so that's it. Loki, I'm gonna send you a doc or whatever of all the comics that were featured in in this sorry, I'm not sleeping good, in this competition, and you get to pick one. So congratulations, that's awesome. I'll be throwing in something else minor into your box, and I'll ship that out this weekend if I get a reply back from you today or this weekend. The judges, thank you very much for doing the work you did. Thank you for writing a little note about why you felt a certain way. We won't go into the personal votes of each box from each voter. It's not fair. These guys all did an amazing job. They took time out of their day, time away from their families, to sit down, rate boxes, and write a ditty about why they felt that way. The boxes that fell into some interesting notes here, the boxes that fell into the middle got less of a write-up. But the one that came in last got more of a write-up. And first too. So, kind of interesting. So, to thank them for their help, I'm sending them over a gift box. So it'd be a slab, maybe 2, and a couple of goodies outside of that. So hopefully they enjoy that. All right, now let's get into some of the nitty gritty. gonna start from the top. Loki. So, like I said, great shipping. Everyone agreed. Pricing it out, it was comic books are high value, like from 10 up in value. And so what that did was that there were fewer books to worry about. If you watch back the review video, you'll see that it's not a big load of books. And what that means is that you can either load it up with awesome stuff, which you did. It was definitely a key box. Sentry and Riri and Mega Man. Even when it got soft, it was still even when it was soft, it was still sorry, stuff's going on. It was still keys, so it was great. It was great. Empty Thought Balloon number 2. Packaging once again really good. If interested, I can post up pictures of what was good packaging and what was bad packaging. Good packaging typically came in a corrugated box. People use CGC boxes, but we don't have access to those. But corrugated box, more corrugated pieces inside, each book being separated or in a box of its own. So if it's a slab, it was put in between the corrugated pieces, and then it had separating pieces, so the slabs didn't slap up against each other. And then the loose comics, the raw comics, were slid in a standalone box. And I want to iterate. $500 is not a little bit of money. So it's worth taking 40 or 50 or whatever out of that and saying that's going to go to packing. I would rather get $500 worth of comics or $450 worth of comics in good shape than $600 worth of comics that used to be in good shape. So some people commented that the spec books like Boba Fett, once again, this is on an Empty Thought, and Gore were on the downslope. But on the positive side, the comedy around Turok, you really have to have your hand on the heart of the community to understand the whole Turok hot mess. So overall, great box. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail about Loki because he just smashed it. He really did. Okay, I'm reading out of a spreadsheet. That's why I'm looking to the side. So Big Ben 70. So we have Ben. Great shipping. Your box came out of the mail damaged, but nothing inside was damaged, and that speaks to how well you packed it. Everything was well known and recognizable. Great box. Key books. Hard to find books. Someone mentioned if you ended on a bigger bang. So take out a couple of books, put a big bang in there. Every book is a decent key, which I totally agree with. Got some personal collection versus not collecting in there. And the last 4 books was really great. So, once again, the scoring was so close at this point. You actually lost by 0.5 of a score to Empty Thought Balloon, so for second place, and that scoring was based on a 0.5 difference on shipping, so on packing. So maybe some more or some better packing in there. Right, Nostalgia Source. So, there's some disclosures that need to happen here. Nostalgia Source, I buy a lot of comics from. He's my comic store, so to speak, for both new comics and old comics. I think we're due $1,000 a month in business. Part of the reason why I couldn't be judge on the show. Also, the judges didn't know who they were judging. These three guys definitely know people in the community and work close with some of the people in the community. And so we only told them a submission number. We didn't tell them who it was. And they were consciously staying away from pulling information from people that were in the competition. So, once again, good stuff. So I really like this box. But I think Nostalgia knows what I like. This was a key box again, so you can see the first 4 boxes were key boxes. But it also had a really nice classic Peanuts comic that was in really, really good condition. There wasn't really a theme, so to speak, but everything was recognizable. Started out with Paper Girls. Also, the top 4 all had notes, so you could kind of follow along. So, to put things in perspective, Nostalgia scored the same as what Loki in first place scored on packing, but then dropped, 4 points, 4 and some points on the content. I really recommend that you guys go back and compare certain submissions. It's easy to kind of watch one and go, oh, I don't agree. But then you realize that this competition was done in reference. And we'll talk about that some more a little later. So yeah, we got B-Cars 10. Was next. So this is, I think this is Bo. Anyways, really good packing. And to show you how consistent things were, Ben and Bo's stuff came from the same location, or the same post office, let me say that. But B-Cars 10's box didn't get damaged. A little bit of packed, and they were able to hold on to that 0.5. So really consistent voting. Really consistent. Let's see. Sigs made a big difference in this one, the signatures. I'm just reading the notes. Some of the books were harder to value because of... Let's see, am I missing something here? Yeah, some of the comments are harder to value because of signatures. They just weren't out there. So you kind of have to make assumptions. And then beautiful slab. Not real happy about the signature placement. And I think here's So this one, if I had my opinion, this one would have won. So this is the one that had Daredevil, Elektra, Bats, Cats, Spidey, Cats. There was one more. Anyhow, the partnership comics, strong theme, strong groupings. People knew what these comics were. But not everyone's really into a storytelling, but it was a storytelling one. Anyhow, I love this. I tried to guess what the next comic was, right? So, that was cool. These guys, not so much. I also think you're balancing value versus storytelling at a certain point. Like, you can't go over a certain amount. You don't want to throw in comics for free that actually have a lot of meaning in your collection. So you kind of have to balance that out. Alright, next was Comic Big Chris. Now, Comic Big Chris left an awesome note, huge logo on the note. Notes on each book, good packaging. What I liked about Comic Big Chris, and he was the first submission that we looked at. I did allow the team to go back and revisit their scores. It was an excellent baseline. There's nothing wrong with it. The Invincible book, comics below the $10 mark in some cases, definitely in some cases. But good build-up was a comment from one of the judges. The main feedback, though, was that it was missing something extra. In the last book was perfect, but the middle section. This might be unpopular belief, but and you could tell because the person I would have voted for to be number one out of this would have been the person that came in fifth, that being B Cars 10. But if you're gonna end with a big slap, I almost wouldn't mind having fewer comics, but at a higher value, like three or four. But once again, a lot of people are taking these out of their personal collections. Next time I do this competition, I'll give more time so people can actually source what they want to put in the box. So that was a solid, number 6. Once again, the scoring is super close at this point still. It's so close. Comics for College. Bought a lot of stuff from Comics for College. So Comics for College did something very unique, and I liked it. I had a good note. So if you're gonna do a box, do a note. It was Batman Beyond 1 through 6 with the Oz book at the end. I won't lie. I kinda was because Batman Beyond 1 through 6 is not a super recognizable home run, as one voter put it. But once you do the research, it becomes super recognizable and a slam dunk. So, don't get me wrong. I did not have those books. 1, 2. I love those books. 3, I love those books. Okay, number 8 was Bookstore Bats. Done a lot of business with Bookstore Bats. Packaging is really good. And he threw some extras in there, which he always does. I mean, I got a whole freaking Batman sitting on my desk because of him. Content fell down a little bit. It was a fun book. It had some really good, fun stuff in there. Trying to see. The slabs. The comment is that the slabs killed the momentum of the box. So you got the second highest rating for packing. I think the Dazzler definitely hurt. I love you, Bookstore Bats. I love you. Marvel's Comics 23, who has successfully not stopped bothering me about the ratings. Very middle of the ground packing. First appearances were good. Middle books were soft. The comment here was that if you are a new collector, you would love this box because there were starting boxes, starting comics here, like fundamental comics. It's hard to find someone that doesn't have a set of X-Men 1s. But it was in here. They're in good shape, great shape, and for someone starting out, that's a great way to start out. And in fact, I'll probably give those to my nephew who's trying to start. Signatures were good. Slab was great. Slab definitely picked it up at the end. Alright, down to the bottom 3. Nelson Comics, definitely a fun box. Notes again. Nothing kinda. Nothing super amazing. Once again, packing middle of the road, it looks like, for the judges. That's right. This is one where I didn't catch that the Thunderbolts book was the second appearance of the Thunderbolts. Because the first one was in Hulk 433 or something. My takeaway from this one, there was lots of humor in this one around the Super Pro 1 book, which, again, I think Super Pro 1 is the Turok for a lot of people. It's almost like if this, and I know you did a 4-3-2-1 blast off type of thing, and I appreciated the direction and the humor and the fun there. It's almost if the Super Pro book was earlier on for whatever reason, and a different book was used. Regardless, the Deathlock book, those that cared about generational stuff liked it. Those that didn't like it. I liked it. I was okay with it. What I appreciated this was that there was a mix throughout time. So if I was judging this, and we know from the last tournament, it's a good idea that I don't judge, this box would have actually being okay. Like, it would have been quite high. The problem with mystery boxes, before we go into the last two, and you will see it in the last two as well. So the last three submissions, submission 4, 2, and 11, all illustrate one point. You can either go focused and hope to have a hit. And honestly, that's what most people that have mystery boxes do. They theme them, they custom build them, they do whatever they need to do to make it special for you, which is amazing. That's why the Instagram community is amazing. Or you go broad, which if I was building a custom mystery box for this, I would have done the same thing. I would have gone broad, where you have new comics, old comics, spec comics, classic comics, and you can see that in E. Nelson's and Ed's box. It's like a little bit of everything. The problem is that it's gonna miss more times than it hits. I would have done the same thing. I would have ended up probably below you, because I would have just kind of mailed it in a paper bag. Long box. Some people are concerned here about the packing. Others were not at all worried about the packing. So that tells you something. Once again, this is done in a I'm trying to remember the top of my head, but I think this was a CGC box, and the slabs were up against each other or something. So there's some concern there. There were a lot of books here, and a lot of them felt like filler books. But with that came 4 or 5 slabs, all lower graded. But that Batman 666 9.8 was huge. I love that book. It was a good quality. The shell's great. But leading up to that, there was not a whole lot. There were some interesting books, like a Guy Game. But yeah, if I had to give advice, and Longbox has been doing this better than for longer than anyone else I know, and he is Canadian, so he's probably super nice, and he also makes mystery boxes. Less is better, but it might not be in your library to do less. So don't judge people on a $500 box. Judge people on getting a $100 box or whatever they're offering and you're comfortable with, and seeing how it goes there. Some people want a ton of books because they can turn around and sell them. Would that have happened? Yeah, maybe. Given the Instagram market, maybe. All right. The last one, number 12, scored dismally. So Longbox scored 40, more or less. Buy My Comics at number 12 scored a 20. This was tough. Okay, so first of all, packing. Packing was rough. It was in a very long box with very little protection. And so you could tell that the box was tweaked in the mail. Anytime you get a long box, if you don't use boxes inside boxes on a long box, and Nostalgia Source knows this very well, and a few others like Pops and a few other people. The box can tweak, and so by putting smaller boxes inside the bigger box, you solidify the box, and it doesn't destroy the comics as much. Now, that being said, the comics were not destroyed. So should we score a person based on potential? It's only fair to judge them on potential. The note was good. The note set the tone for where the box was going to go. I knew at that point that this was not going to be a normal box. If you are an indie person, talk to Buy My Comics. He kind of has a good feel of where the market is, what has come before, and what is to come in the future, based on what I got out of it. The slab was really cool. However, for the judges who are established comic people, and they're established in their realm, it was a big miss. I think what missed for me was there were some books in there that were available on Amazon, and a little more mainstream. What I like to see out of an indie box is, oh my god, where the heck did this come from? Like the Guy games, right? In the previous box. This was definitely rooted in indie lore. So, indie today, indie tomorrow, indie yesterday, that kind of thing. I will keep every single one of the titles. I enjoyed the box. It missed in a few places for me, but if you're an indie person, reach out to Buy My Comics, see what he's got, because based on the box, and you can go see the box, it's in my YouTube channel, it's very impressive. I want to say, so that's it. That's the 12. I want to say that this is a very big eye-opener for me. When these three guys judged this competition, you could tell that they weren't just looking for what fits into my PC, what fits into my personal collection or private collection. They were looking for the general audience that falls into kind of their same tastes. And that taught me a lot. You know, Loki's box, Empty Thoughts box. Although Empty Thoughts box, that last book, that was actually their book, Taylor's book, with a beautiful drawing inside of it. I will always keep that. Always. And then Big Ben, Nostalgia Source, and Bo. All of these boxes would make people happy, not because it's a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, but it plays to today's market, which is keys and spec. And slabs, right? A hitter of a slab at the end. I definitely learned that fewer books are better. With a $500 box, you're looking at about 10 books, and that's the sweet spot. I definitely learned that my taste is not what other people's tastes are, maybe. Like, B-Cars 10 with the partners theme, and Comics for College with the Batman Beyond. And what is the other one? Oh, yeah, I mean, buy my comics with the indie theme, which has hit way more points for me than with the judges. They would have all done really well in my book. I do want to call out that the scores were, there was no blowout, as in per judge, as in the scores were all within what I would call a 15% deviance. So I don't want anyone to think that these judges weighted heavily because of other reasons, because of their taste or whatever. This is a very accurate representation of how these boxes would do. Alright. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to chat about this. The results are not changing. This is the results, and we're going to go with it. Low key, I'm going to send you a list of comics that showed up in this. Pick out like 1, 2, 3 comics that kind of catch your fancy, and we'll work it out. The judges are getting prizes. I'm gonna give it to them. I'm not gonna show them off. They can show them off if they want to. Yeah. Now, People's Choice. I'm gonna post this on Instagram. Starting tomorrow, we're gonna do a People's Choice. It's gonna run till Wednesday. Last time was a week and it was too long. We'll run until Monday evening, 9 p.m. PST, so that's midnight Eastern time. And I'm gonna set up a vote, and we'll vote on what people think are their favorites. So, we'll do that. The prize will be a slab that I will pull out and give people a shot at. And that's it, guys. I hope this was good. The tournament itself started when everything in my life was amazing and ended at a terrible time. So I haven't been quite able to stay on top of it the way I want to. Really, really thank everyone for putting themselves out there and presenting what they had. Really, 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 really appreciate all our judges and them putting themselves out there as well. They're all stand-up guys, and they're all really helpful. All at different stages of the collections, all at different stages of what they're doing in the community. So let them know that if you want a box from them, if you want a box from any of our contestants, let them know. See what they say. They might say no, but they might say yes. Anything else? I think that's it. All right. Thank you, everyone.